Good evening, everybody. Justin, Michael, happy Friday. I'm super
Happy
excited. The
Friday.
playoffs
Happy
are here.
playoffs.
I know, right? Let's go.
Yep.
Let's find a way to make some people some money. Like that's the main thing we need to do. The whole regular season, I'm always like, stay away from this game, stay away from that game. This game can go this way, this game can go that way. I'm not entertaining any middle ground. There is no middle ground. It's the playoffs. Got to have a strong opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, this is what you were waiting for.
I
You
know.
said it, you said it all year.
Long time, man. Good for you having some patience.
A little bit. Like there's a couple random $15 parlays in there trying to give myself some action. But yeah, I'm ready. So I'm looking at the games. We're gonna go in order. I'm gonna start us off, but I really want to get you guys, I really want to dive into the games because I'm hoping you guys can educate me, sell me one way or the other. I feel like I've made up my mind on some things, but other things I want to see the final injury report. So let's get into it. First thing is Browns Texans. I'm looking at it in two ways. First way is I love the Texans last week. They win. They have all the momentum. They're home. Stroud's amazing. I think everybody checks all those boxes. They are getting some of their players back. So
Yep.
all things are pointing up for the Texans. And then it's the Flacco situation. And I'm like, all right, let me just leave the Flacco stuff alone. Let me just go and focus on that side of the ball and just give the Browns 17 to 21 points. Like, I think they're going to end up in that range. That's where I see the game. So I'm like, can the Texans move the ball or not? And outside of they played so conservative last week that it bothered me. Like watching the game, it was 4th and 3 on the 42. I think I said I was going to do 30 seconds. Here I go. Sorry. But it was 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 on the 42. And they punted. They opted for to take the delay of game. And it just felt like they let the Colts hang around long enough and almost lost. If they play that, I have mixed feelings, but my favorite bet in that game is going to be the under. I just see if the Texans are going to win, they're going to win 20 to 17. I don't see them moving the ball. Michael, we'll go with you. I have no idea what you guys are thinking, so let's go.
Yeah, no, appreciate that intro. So this game's interesting to me because obviously this is a rematch of only a couple weeks ago, week 15 or 16. And the most relevant thing that I took away from that game is the line closed. Cleveland only -3.5, and that was with Davis Mills starting. If you just kind of take 1-to-1 and say CJ Stroud is now your quarterback, you're telling me there's only a point and a half difference between that. I think that's egregiously wrong. So I think just value wise, it's Houston or pass to me. The total is kind of sitting there in the mid to low 40s. So if you can tease Houston up to +8, I think that's a great side. I will say, Ryan, you have a great point about Houston's offense. Their coordinator runs it, I think, too often to their demise. Like, just hand the keys to Stroud. This guy can sling it and fire. It's like they have to get down 10 before they get into pass mode, and then they'll score a touchdown in 2 seconds. It's like if they would only do that when they're winning, they could really be.
And then so before Justin goes, that's what I'm nervous about from the Texans' perspective is catch up against Cleveland. They're like the worst team to play catch up against because the way they get after the passer, they don't have to blitz. Justin, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, Ryan, sorry again. I had some more points I got to say.
Excuse me, Michael, part two.
Yeah. So where was I?
I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
You're good. Houston's coordinator runs it too often. My other concern for Houston is it's a rookie head coach. D'Amico Ryan's first time in the playoffs. It's definitely a thing there. Stefanski, for as good or as bad as you think he is, has won a game in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure with Baker a couple years ago in Pittsburgh.
2 games.
That matters. They played Kansas City pretty tough the following round. Anyway, a rookie quarterback as well as Stroud, I think he's something special, but you have to say it. Any quarterback making their first start typically doesn't perform well. Now, you can throw that out the window. I just want to make that point. And the last thing about Cleveland is their defensive splits. This is probably talked about ad nauseum. At home and away is insane. At home, they're probably #1 in points allowed and close to 32nd on the road. It's pretty crazy. So just have to throw all that out there for some nuggets in this game.
I saw that. Is there a deeper way to look at that? Was it matchups? What do you think is the cause for that?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, if they're going on the road to play the Ravens and the Niners and good teams, then sure, maybe. But I don't know. It's got to be systemic to over an 18 game sample size.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. I also saw that Cleveland, when they're in man defense, is like one of the best, but when they're in zone, they're
I'm
one of the
so damn.
worst. It's another like split like that. I don't know exactly what it is, and teams are seeing against them in different ways. But my hunch is kind of the same as you were saying, Michael. I expected this game to be about a pick 'em. And when it came, I think at the first spread I saw Cleveland -1.5. Then it got all the way up to 3. I
Mhm.
grabbed Houston at +3. That's the side I'm leaning. Right now it's sitting 2.5. I like the tease angle as well. Find another team to pair them up with. I could definitely see this game going a bunch of ways. Yeah, you got rookie head coach and rookie quarterback on Houston's end. He looks really good. He made some incredible throws last week. He's done it all year. Cleveland does have a good pass rush. They have a couple guys banged up that are questionable. Delpit and Ward. I don't know which
Nope,
way.
I think Delpit's out. I think Ward's gonna play.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, a couple guys banged up either way. Might not be a totally full strength. Yeah, and Flacco's a huge wild card too. I know he's looked good. I don't totally believe or trust in him yet to be like a top quarterback. And he's shown he can make some mistakes.
So you were right. Stefanski is 1-1. They won the Steelers game.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers and lost to the Chiefs that in
I don't know
2020.
why they gave him a second win before the Chiefs game, but that Chiefs game they had him, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones fumbled right
Yeah,
before
no, they played him
the.
real close.
Yeah.
They definitely covered.
Yeah, either way, I see this as a close game. I don't really see either team winning by definitely not double digits. I'd be surprised if it's past one possession.
So I think both teams are going to run the football. I think it's going to be a quick game. I gave you my take on it. You guys don't seem to. That's your favorite game, so we'll move on. I think the favorite thing I heard from Michael, or the strongest thing that Justin co-signed, and for those of you, whether it's the first time listening or I don't do this, really don't do this for the content. So I forget to tell people to like the post or whatever. Whatever. If you're listening, we're hoping to help you make some money. Justin and Michael are my good friends. They're not getting paid to do this. They bet themselves, but they're not betting the way Jeremy bets. So it's a different perspective. And anyway, so we're here to help you make some money. And Michael introduced a theory to us, not his own theory, but a theory that he uses to help bet, which is, with teasing, 6-point teasers, and the Browns, or excuse me, the Texans fall into that with the Browns, right? You get them over 7. So if you think the game's going to be close, I think the best advice is to take the Texans plus 8.5, get it up there. I personally just like the game to go under. I think anyway. So harp on that more if I could, but I could just go into all the X's and O's. But the last point I'll make on it is you really want to look at how the coach is going to play the game, right? Like what's the coach's philosophy? The Browns defense, there's no way, as much as they trust Flacco, it's still the Browns defense that runs that team. So I think they'll run the football, let the Browns defense have a chance to win that game. And D'Amico Ryans just took the air out of the ball last week. So Michael touched on that. Let's go to Dolphins Chiefs. It's hard to find people that like the Dolphins at this point. The line has gone, I think it was 1.5 when it opened, which I guess they just really misjudged it because usually you don't see line movement like this.
I don't think it was that low. I think it
I
opened
don't either because
three
it
and a
didn't
half.
come out till late because Miami had the Sunday night game. I thought it was 3 to start.
It
No,
opened at least a field goal,
I
and
definitely,
then got it 100% got bet up.
well, regardless, it's at 4.5 now. We'll
Yeah,
fact check me on that as I'm talking, but it's 4.5 now. It's going to be freezing. I don't feel this is the game I feel least strongly about, but
I'm with you.
but I feel the under again. I feel both games are going under in the AFC on Saturday. So Justin, why don't you go, or you looking that up? You want Michael to go first?
I was just looking where to start it at. I was
Yeah, good
curious.
luck.
Yeah,
Look it up. I
it
don't want
opened
to
at
get wrong.
3.
You wrong twice to start the
It
podcast.
opened at 3, so you're wrong.
There's no way. It was one. Well, I'll look while Michael. Go ahead, Mike. Dolphins, Chiefs. Mike, what do you think?
So yeah, line movement. It seems like going in Kansas City's favor. I don't disagree. Just on a couple of reasons. Not a strong take. I just think Miami is a different team today than they were even just like a month ago, 2 months ago, when you kind of think of them as this great high flying offense and with this kind of gambling defense. It was working when they had kind of these pieces. I just think they have too many injuries at too many levels. It's kind of just clustered and added up. And from Kansas City side, they're not nearly as good as they've been. We've talked about it ad nauseum every week. Kansas City, I will at least say, is coming off of a bye. They got to rest their guys last week, and Andy Reid getting that extra time is a lazy kind of take here. But I do think I think KC's gonna win. I could easily see them struggle though. So this is a no bet for me, but KC or pass.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, and I'm looking up a key injury, which I think will factor in. But I mean, I agree with you about the under. That one's definitely been bet down a lot too. I don't really see either team doing much. I know that the cold will definitely be a factor. The Chiefs' offense isn't very good right now, even to begin with, even in normal conditions.
What is
Miami's struggling with some injuries. They might get Mostert back, which I think would be a big deal.
Waddle too,
I-
potentially.
yeah,
What
I
I was
think
going to ask you, just like, what's the Dolphins' pathway? Like, what kind of game?
they have. I think Mostert has to play, and they have to run well. Because I mean, they're when both their running backs are healthy, they're
They
a really
do.
good running team, and I think they could kind of control the clock, control the ball, keep it close, and that's the way I see them. Somehow sneaking off the upset.
And Kansas City doesn't score in bunches anymore. Like
Right,
you
and
have to
that
score
yeah,
20, 23 to beat them.
yeah, I wouldn't be really
Why do
scared
you
of
think the
them.
number is as high?
Yeah,
I was a little nervous, like, because I like the under, but and I try not to overthink this, but it did come in pretty high. Like the number's higher than I thought it'd be. Is it just because the Dolphins score a lot of points and that's just what it is?
Yeah, it's probably because of the names of the teams and what people think about them. At least what they used to be. I don't know if they're really like the Chiefs is just their name. I don't. Their offense
exactly.
is kind of low.
Did you guys see
Go ahead.
how much of the Sunday night game Buffalo Miami did you guys watch?
A
Because
good
Buffalo,
amount.
they only scored 21 points, but they had like 9 red zone turnovers. They could have scored like
Oh,
42.
Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my point is like Miami, I think, has bigger holes than is the market realizes.
So with some of these games, especially in the playoffs, when you're watching it, it's a standalone game. The live betting aspect, if you have an opinion going into the game, and that Chiefs Dolphins game, that would be the perfect. If it starts off where we think both teams are going to run the football, I just like the under in that game as well. Steelers Bills, let's go, dude. I got to read you this. Did you guys see? Right before I came on, I was reading something. Okay, so Buffalo Bills and some place, I don't know, some local place, Janny King, whatever that is, I don't know. Anyway, if you're 18 or over, you can get paid $20 an hour.
The
Start.
shovel.
You saw that to some shovel
Yeah.
snow at 10 o'clock at night, Saturday night. What could possibly be better? Especially if you live in Buffalo. I don't know what like
If you're, yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what they do on Saturday nights anyway, but you're gonna get paid to shovel snow. You get food breaks that are warm, so in some sort of area, I guess that's covered. Any thoughts on that? Slash Bills are favored by 10. And what's the total now? 33 and a half. This is like a dream game for Tomlin. This is ridiculous. Like, first of all, I want to play the Steelers. Like, I really want to play. I think most Ravens fans feel that way since they started
Mhm.
celebrating like they won the Super Bowl last week or
Yeah.
last week, right?
Yep.
But gambling standpoint, numbers at 10, you can get it 9.5. Remember, you can always buy, not to talk down to people, but Justin, Michael, we don't really spend time talking about this on the podcast, but all these lines, we were bickering about where a line started. They can all be bet wherever you want, especially now with all these sports betting apps that are available. So you really should decide how you like the game and then hunch and find out where you can find the best odds. You usually can figure out where you want to get it at some point, some way, somehow. So anyway, looking at it from Bills minus 10, 33 and a half. I love this game for the under. I sound like a broken record, but I really like the Steelers also. So I have 2 plays in the game. I like the Steelers and I like the under. I think it's obvious why. It's just a crappy game. They have nothing to lose. I prefer somebody to talk me out of it because I feel dirty rooting for the Steelers. So Justin, why don't we start with you? Nobody hates the Steelers as much as you. Let's go. Talk me into
Well,
those, please.
I'll agree with one thing and I'll disagree with the other. I think and I've said it all year. I'm not really a Bills guy. I think they've been overrated all year. I think they still are, even though they've had this nice run where they're barely winning some games. I'm mad that they got to 11 wins. I had the under 10 and a half, which was like gold in the middle of the season. Somehow it
No
lost.
hedge?
No, I don't do that much. There's no point in
I was
hedge.
going to say, that enough money to hedge it.
I'm
All
not
right.
betting hundreds of dollars. I'd probably bet like $30 on it.
So keep going. So
But yeah, in this type of game, Pittsburgh's just I don't think they're good either, but they find in some run game with Harrison Warren, and the Bills' run defense has not been very good. I think they'll find some success there. Rudolph, I don't think they're gonna have him do much. Allen's prone to make a turnover or two. I would definitely take the 10 points, but the over under is too low. If I decide there, I would take the over.
even the winds are gonna be like 30 miles an hour.
Even that, I mean, I feel like these are some football NFL teams. I think they can find ways to score. Maybe there's some defense, maybe there's some crazy stuff. I don't think I'll play it, but if I had to decide one of them, I think I'd side the over. It's just too low.
I'll make a side bet with you, Justin, because I definitely like the under. I do think the win, and to Ryan's point, it's going to make such a difference. I feel like it's just going to be blowing like crazily high gusts, sustained 30, 40 plus. And it makes me think back of that Buffalo Patriot game. It was like a Monday night or something where like the teams couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards because it was just literally that bad. They couldn't mark the ball down because it would just blow away. I think it could be similar to that. It's a 1 o'clock game. This is not me saying this, but reports are saying just because it's at 1, it means the sun's up, the winds are going to be sustained. I'm saying it's going to matter. With all of that said, if this game was played in the dome, I would love Buffalo. I think they're materially better on both sides of the ball and can score 40 points and would hold Pittsburgh to 3. But this game is being played in the conditions in a playoff game where you have Tomlin magic, I'll call it, and you have McDermott, Buffalo's coach, anti-magic. It's just a recipe that is just like I think it would be a gift as a Raven fan to play the Steelers. It would be like the greatest gift in 2024 if that's our game going into next week. So that's what I want to happen. I like the under. Give me Pitt plus the points, but it sucks because it's like it's not going to be a real game in my opinion. It's going to be like watching, I don't know, 10-year-olds or something, where you can't throw.
What's the
high school?
Give me the breakdown. And I know I'm putting you on the spot by asking you this. So certain teams run a certain way, they block a certain way. How does the Bills' run defense match up with the Steelers' rush offense? Will the Steelers be able to move the ball at all? Because the Bills at least will have the threat of throwing the ball, and then their quarterback, obviously, Josh Allen can run. Mason Rudolph can't move. So they're going to put 9, 10 guys on the box. The Steelers are still going to try to run it. They do have guys on the outside that they can – those are favorable matchups. Like will the Steelers, either of you, like I haven't delved into it as much as I need to. I like the under, but I'm curious if the Steelers, you guys think will be able to run on Buffalo.
Probably not too well. I think Buffalo trajectory this season was they had a lot of injuries at the beginning of the year and middle of the season that they had a lot of bad performances. And I think by the bye week, by the time they were 6-6, they started to get healthier. And they've got on a nice little winning streak. And I would actually argue it's more because of their defense and their offense. Allen hasn't even been that amazing. Just all these turnovers, and they're winning games in the low 20s. So
Right.
I think like I said, I really do think they're the second best team in the AFC pretty easily. But this game is just in these weird conditions, and that's such a wrench in it. And maybe I'm overrating it. Maybe Buffalo goes out and wins 24-3. That's not a thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next game. Packers Cowboys. I got the Niners to win the NFC. We're going to do that after we finish these games. We'll do some futures. And I also had a Packers preseason to win the NFC, but then I had the Cowboys not to make the playoffs. So I lost. And it was $1,000 on the Cowboys. So I lost that. Not happy about it. Packers. I think it was whatever I bet, like 100 and something, get paid 3,000. So I got the Niners for 1,000 so far to win the NFC. Had to pay that at -140. So really,
you did that. You just did that. The Niners going into the playoffs.
Yeah, didn't do that at any point. Did that. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, so Packers. Really want Packers to win because then they'll play the Niners in the second round, and then they automatically halfway home. And I also don't want to bet against the Cowboys because I just was dead wrong. Like if there's one thing I was wrong about besides the effing Titans making the playoffs, it was the Cowboys not being good this year. finally gave up on it after they destroyed the Rams. I think that was my one, like, God, I almost published. Something happened that week, and for whatever reason, we didn't do a podcast. Anyway, I'm rambling. But the Cowboys, way better than I thought. I could make the argument for the Packers, but this is the one game where I'm like, I really want to root for the Packers. So I feel blinded by it. But I do feel like 7 points. Packers are playing the best football. They shut down the Bears last week. The defense looked better. It is in a dome. All right, go ahead, Justin. You like the Cowboys?
Yes, I believe. I think it'd be a pretty high scoring game. The over under is pretty high. So I mean that's not
Just
too
50.5, right?
50.5. Yeah, it's not too shocking to think it's gonna be a high scoring game, but I don't see Green Bay stopping Dallas. Dallas has been unreal at home. Green Bay's defense. Yeah, you mentioned they were good last week. That was against the Bears. I don't really count that. They've been pretty bad.
There's a rolling, though.
What's that?
There's a rolling.
Yeah,
It's still.
I don't take too much
Bears are my best bet
problem with
last
that.
week. It's not-
I think Dallas is gonna kind of do what they want on offense. I think Green Bay will score too. I like Green Bay. I hope they can keep it a game. I really like Jordan Love's improvement over the year. I think we all wrote him off probably middle of the year when were picking Green Bay. Maybe it was against Denver or something like that.
No,
And we kept picking Green Bay and we're like, nah, we're done with this guy. And then he just went like 15 touchdowns and 2 picks the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 games.
he's been really good.
He's been really good. This is his first playoff game. It's kind of like Stroud.
Did you see
I
real
think-
quick? I gotta cut you off on this. I heard something the other day and then finish your thought. But 17, ready for this? 17-35 is the record for a guy whose first start versus in the playoffs versus somebody who's already had a start. So that would be Flacco versus Stroud, Love versus Dak. Is there another one I'm missing? I think
You know,
that's
Tua
And
actually
Rudolph's never started a playoff game, I'm sure.
Rudolph. There you go. So 3.
Tua either because it was Skylar Thompson last year.
We got 4. So the
Yeah,
record
wait. Has Tua not played in the playoffs yet?
Don't think so.
No. So 17-35 is the record for if it's your first playoff game ever. Not if you're a rookie, just if it's your first playoff game ever versus somebody who's already had multiple playoff games. And yeah, this Packers game. So you're sorry, Justin. I just had to get that out.
No, yeah, I just think Dallas is gonna score a lot. I don't know if Green Bay can do enough to keep up.
Maybe a backdoor cover or something.
Yeah,
that could happen.
backdoor.
But if I'm taking a side, I'm taking down. It went down. I think it was 7.5 for a while. Now it's down to 7. That's the side I would take. Is down.
You're nodding a lot. I'll let you go. But is this a teaser for you down the Cowboys -1, or what do you think?
Yeah, so it's going to be a really popular side to take Dallas down to 1. I don't disagree with it. My only semi nitpick concern would just be it's a high total where, bringing those 6 point aren't they're not as valuable as if it were a lower total game, but it's still a great tease. If that stays at 7, getting Dallas, who's about a -300 money line to about just to win the game is a fantastic leg. I do think, to Justin's points, or literally spot on, going down the list, Dallas is so much better at home than they are on the road. Green Bay's defense, I agree, is I think actually very bad. I think they'll be able to, Dallas will get whatever they want to do. I do trust LaFleur more than McCarthy, I will say, if it does get down to it and the back door could be open. But I do think Dallas, at some point, like halfway through the year, they just decided, like, screw the running game. We're going to throw it at a 60% clip. And Dak has been phenomenal. It's like all these teams, like, they think to protect their quarterback, you got to go run, pass. It's like the exact opposite. You go pass, run when it's wide open and easy, dink and ducks for 6 yards. Like, anyway, I think it's a big step up in class for Green Bay. So I definitely, I'll agree with Dallas. I don't know if I'm betting it, but the tease that you did mention, it makes so much sense.
You got a final thought, Justin?
I was just gonna mention I just want to highlight CD Lamb. I think the second half of the year he's probably been the offensive player of the year. If it wasn't for Tyreek's first half, he's been unbelievable. I don't think they're gonna stop him. He's probably going for 200.
He's
looked like the best receiver in the league the last 2 months.
The Dallas, I think when I turned the corner on Dallas, besides that Rams game, was then the Chargers game on Monday night. because it was like they just made so many third down plays. And anyway, we'll see what happens in that game.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and home they're a different animal. I think they'll take care of it.
Yeah. Rams, Lions, I think the popular thing is, hey, got a better quarterback, got Aaron Donald, I got Cooper Kupp, I got a better coach. Why would I take the Lions? So I looked at this game a little bit differently. I looked at it like the Rams, in order for them to be comfortable, they have to be able to get third and shorts. I think if they're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 in that dome against a really rowdy crowd, plus Aiden Hutchinson and the way the Lions can get after the quarterback, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a great matchup for the Rams. I think if you told me we got all the way to the 4th quarter and it was 27-27 and it's like haymaker after haymaker, I'll take Stafford. But I don't see the game playing out this way. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I like the under again in this game. I think the Rams are going to try to run the football.
Why don't you pick a side for once?
If I had to bet, I would take the Lions, but I wouldn't do the 3. I would probably do
Money
the
line.
Lions just on the money line. I think the Lions are going to win this game, but I really think the biggest advantage is with the coach. I think the quarterback advantage is there with Stafford over Goff, but I don't think it's dramatic. And I think the names for the Rams might pop more. But if you have been watching football this year, the Lions got guys too. Like Lions have weapons. I just think I don't know. I think these wild card games with defensive coaches and guys that like to run the football, the matchups are the under. And what's it, 51.5? Like that means someone has to get the 30. That would be the perfect game for me where I would live bet it because I don't feel like betting enough money before the game starts on it. Like I think I'm right, but I also want to see the game play out. I think it's unpredictable. Dan Campbell drives me crazy. So anyway, go ahead, Michael. You're first.
Yeah, I'm in disagreement, at least just off the bat in the total. Obviously high for a reason. Both these teams are pretty aggressive. I think you're going to go for it on 4th downs. I feel like maybe that is good for your under, but I just think it's going to be a pinball machine game. Like both teams should be able to move the ball and score pretty easily. I do want to say I think the Rams are going to be your kind of public dog of the week. I think
Absolutely.
everyone's kind of on board with it. It's very narrative central of Stafford returning back to Detroit, and it's nice and cozy. And I do see that side because the Rams are a different team with Kyron Williams since he's returned. He's didn't make a Pro Bowl, even potentially an All Pro. I don't know, but he helps them severely. Cooper Kupp's getting healthier, and Nakua. It's a very dynamic offense, and Ryan, you made a point about the head coaches or whatnot. I think it's inverse. I think McVay having the insight of Goff's tendencies is just going to be like so beneficial. I think if I were him, he should come up with a defensive game plan against Goff, or at least have an idea of what he's wants to get done in the passing game. I know it's a different offense, but I think that at least has to help.
Justin yelled at me to pick a side, so I said I'd take the Lions money line, but that is part of the reason why I like the under, because I think you're going to see a lot of running of the football, and I do think that
both teams will be able to run, and it easily could be a keep away game, and you get a couple of field goals. It could be 3-3 halfway, 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter, with both teams driving and eating up clock. I can't. I do want to take Detroit. I just don't think they're as good as they were earlier in the season. So I agree with the public. I do have the Rams. I wanted to come up with a reason to take Detroit. I think Detroit is, if you can come up with a good reason, I think that it's a good contrarian pick if you can get there.
Yeah, I
but
think
but not for me.
Lions got to get, if they get up 7-0. I think the contrarian aspect is they get up 7-0. Stafford tries to force something, you get a turnover. It's just the Lions' night. It's their time. The Rams are halfway retired anyway. They overachieved this year. Justin's not buying it because he likes the Rams. Go ahead.
I like the Lions.
You like the Lions?
Love it.
And I'm also, some of these games I'm going kind of leaning back to my preseason picks and what I was thinking. I was never a fan of the Rams. They're definitely better than I thought. But I think this is a good buy low opportunity on Detroit. People are too high on the Rams. The Rams are good. I think this could be another. I mean, all these games could be close games. They're playoff games. But I'm leaning towards Detroit. I think they can they could definitely score on the Rams. I don't think the Rams defense is really anything to write home about. All they have is Donald, and I don't think they do much else. I think Goff and St. Brown will hook up a lot. Gibbs is a special weapon. Jameson Williams is a special weapon. I think they'll find a way to kind of win this. I think it'll be kind of a shootout game. I don't really see it going in any other way. But I think I like Detroit to win this game, so I'm gonna take them probably -3 and money line, kind of split it up.
Sweet. Let's go to the last game, and then we'll do some predictions. I'll let you guys get out of here. Eagles -3 against Tampa. This is just, I don't even know. I feel like it doesn't matter because this team's not going to win the next game. So for a big picture, I don't think it matters. The weather seems like it's going to be ridiculous. I don't know how. I don't know. I guess we'll see how the games play out as far as me putting my own money on the game because I don't really love. First of all, I'm not betting Philly. That's what I'm getting at. But I don't know how actually putting money down on Baker Mayfield and rooting for him. So if I go and I say I like the under again, Justin's gonna have a heart attack. But if it's just the rain, I actually don't like the under. So I do want to see how the weather goes out. I really haven't looked at this game this much, so let's just go for a minute or so on this game. Who wants to go first? Justin, you want to go?
I'm looking at injury reports again.
Michael,
Eagles have a lot.
I'll tee it off
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
Michael.
So I think when Philadelphia was 10-1, we were recording every week and saying they're not that good. We said they're phony. They're winning. They're good, but they're not 10-1 good. And not we never do we think they would like not win their season win total over at that point. But here we are going into the playoffs, and I think Philly is just you can't bet on them. It's trying to catch a falling knife. Tampa, inversely, is not a team I wanted back. I think they've just been a benefit of an easy schedule and an easy division, and just kind of lucking into the spot. It seems like Philly, or Tampa, Philly's in the slot every time, or Tampa against the NFC East on
Pretty
Monday
straight
night.
years.
But here we are. My only play for this game, it might not fit into the Wong theory because Philly is up to 3, but if I can tease Tampa up to 9, 8.5, that's a leg I like, because if you have that, say 4 or 5 different ways going into Monday night, you have options of doubling down on Tampa. You can take Philly for a middle. Just it'll give me something to root for on a game that could be just really dumb. So that's probably what I'm gonna try to get a position to be in.
Yeah, and this is more of a play against Philly. We've all been saying it. They're really I think these two teams are the worst teams in the playoffs, honestly. Even with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a close third. But Tampa getting 3 at home. AJ Brown, even if he plays, he's banged up. He's not nearly close to fully healthy. Hurts is banged up. Even if they were healthy, the Eagles have not. They're just not the same team anymore. Something's going on in that locker room between all the team. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're it's not really a good football team anymore. So Tampa +3. I like Tampa in the tees with Houston. That's actually probably my favorite pick of the week, since I wouldn't say I love any team or any game. But getting Houston and Tampa up over 7 or 8 was the first thing I did. And that's what I like the most. I'm taking Tampa on the money line as well. It's all play against Philly. Tampa, I think, is a okay team, but I think they can expose Philly secondary with Evans and Godwin, and I think Baker will have something to prove. And I think they can win this game for sure.
Yeah.
I love your real quick. I love the point that you're saying you go on money line. I just want to make a point real quick. Like, I think it's like 80% of the games, whoever wins, covers, if you will. So instead of taking even a +3 or a +7, 4 out of 5 times that underdog is gonna win outright. So at least
That's why I love to sprinkle on both sides.
Let's use that.
Don't be afraid.
Well, let's finish that up with future bets. Mine, I think I already said it. I got the Niners to win the NFC. I think besides, we'll do Ravens next week. I don't have the energy. I'm too anxious. I want to see who they play against. But the best value that I found was Niners Chiefs. I got that at 7.5 to 1. Those would be the 2 things that jump out at me for this week, and then I'm going to reevaluate my future bets after this round. Justin, you got anything for anybody that you're looking at?
Like future starting now, I haven't looked at all. It's all Homer. It's all Homer for me. I'm all in on the Ravens. I did them before the year, throughout the year. I'm anxious and excited for who we get to face, and all of Baltimore is gonna be at the first we'll be thinking back to 2019. Hopefully we don't have a repeat performance like that.
Not if it's the Steelers. Then we won't have the ability to do it. If it's the freaking Texans, then
you never know. What if the Steelers, if you get Watt back and something happens, you never know. Football turnovers, special teams, shit happens. But I mean that would be the team I'd pick to play if I could pick out of the four.
All right, Mike,
but yeah, I don't really have any.
So
Mike, I don't really have any other futures that I like.
Well, we'll do it some more next week. Mike, you got the Bills about 6 weeks ago, so I know you got that one.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What do you got? Anything based on the odds now that you would recommend?
Well, yeah, I'll just recap real quick. I got pretty fortunate with a lot of my futures. Just like Justin, I'm always in on the Ravens. Always have to have that one for nice. I got Buffalo at a really good number right after their bye when they were struggling. After the Ravens played the Rams, and we beat them in overtime, I said, this is a pretty good team if they get into the playoffs. And I found them at a pretty high number, 100-1 Super Bowl. Got a NFC ticket as well at 50-1. Early in the year, I took a bad number on the Browns, thinking, the defense is great, good buy low on Watson if he gets better. And it's a bad number. I'll say like 20-25-1, but sitting on that, they're in the playoffs. And I got preseason Packers, just like you, Ryan. Not to NFC and Super Bowl. So it feels good to have like kind of 4 or 5 teams rolling in there, especially with the Ravens. As of today, it's pretty tough to make a bet. In the AFC market, Buffalo's got to be the second pick. But I do think there's value on them, but they could also lose in the first round. I don't see much there from the NFC side because San Francisco is so much of a favorite. If you do like another team, I think, hey, take a pop on one of these road teams. If there's a path for the Rams, they're only a 3-point dog here. If they go into say they win and go into San Fran next week, it's a division matchup. I mean, crazier things have happened to get for a path. So, I don't know. I think if you have a hunch on anyone, take it, because even the Ravens at like close to minus whatever we are, like there's no guarantee.
I was just gonna say, if you like something now, bet it now because it'll be the best odds now. Like
I have one future to say. Fuck all these other 13 teams. Sorry, here, baby.
There you go. I figured something would come out of you as you chugged your last bit of
38 and a half minutes.
So why don't we do this? We'll do a little write-up so you guys can expound on, right before the games. I'll send it out on Sunday. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Hopefully we can help everybody make some money. Jeremy's locks available. His game is going to be Saturday, so we'll see how that works out. And cool. I'll see you guys here next week. And it'll be predominantly Ravens. Maybe if we're not too busy, we'll do 2 podcasts. We'll see. All right, cool.
Yeah, there'll be a lot to cover.
Thanks for the games, guys. Peace.
Yeah.